Hello and welcome to a new edition of our program Women's World. In this edition of our program we will talk about Egyptian Radio Day. We'll talk more about the Egyptian radio, its history, to what extent it has played an important role in development of this country throughout its history. Dear viewers, short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned.
صباح يا حلو طل يا حلو صباح نهارنا فل.
من حديقة الشعر والكلمات أقدم لكم
قطرات الندى.
هنا القاهرة.
هنا القاهرة.
بالسلامة يا حبيبي بالسلامة.
أخبار خفيفة. هنا القاهرة. إذاعة الشرق الأوسط من القاهرة تقدم
فانتاستيكا فانتاستيكا.
خمسة لقلبك.
مع تحيات
إذاعة جمهورية مصر العربية من القاهرة تقدم كلمتين وبس. تقدم لكم
عن مصيف.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Women's World, and now we are joined over the phone by Dr. Magda Bagnied, Professor of Mass Communication. Good morning, Dr. Magda. Good afternoon.
Could you please speak up a little bit louder?
Yes, can you listen to me like this?
I can hear you, but,
yes.
But go slowly because we are in a distance here.
Yes,
not
okay,
to,
Doctor.
To miss you, as you know.
Yes,
okay?
Dr. Magda, yes, as we are celebrating Egyptian Radio Day in the month of May, can you give us a hint about the history of Egyptian radio?
Okay, in a capsule format, I have to talk about Egyptian radio, right?
Yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
First of all, let me tell you that it started in 1939. That's the start.
Yes.
You know, at that time, it was, something like the English, the British radio started at that time. We were like pioneers in the field. What is good about it, I think it started, as I said, in 1939, and then it spread. I mean, many countries used to pick up our stations. We had English language, French, Arabic, and we had a variety, as the years went by, we had a variety of shows and programs that were listened internationally, not only locally in Egypt. And then, if you want me to talk about the stages of the presentation, I can tell you something about the history itself. If you're interested, let me know, and I can give the
yes, please go on. Yes, go on, please, Dr. Magda. Yes, go on to tell us more about the history. Yes.
Okay, to start with, first of all, we had a boom time when Gamal Abdel Nasser was there in Egypt at that time. Radio was very popular. We did not yet introduce the television. The television era itself started later. I'm talking about early times in the 60s, early 60s. You would find in Egyptian farms, farmers riding them, for instance, they are taking the transportation with simply like a donkey or something like that, and they had a transistor. The transistor at that time, they used to call it the revolution of transistor, Thawrat transistor in Arabic, if we have to translate that into Arabic. meaning that they were listening to what is being said. At that time, the nationality and the nation of Egypt was known. القومية العربية,
Yes.
some of those slogans.
Yes.
Nasser used to talk about this, and farmers who did not have idea about politics, they used to listen to him, and the songs, enthusiastic songs by Abdel Halim Hafiz, Kulthum, and lots, just name it. It was booming at that time, and people used to listen to the radio. So we had lots of international channels presented from Egypt, inside and outside Egypt, and at the same time, name it, we had lots of programs, not only news, but we used also to have, shows and lots of things used to be presented, and even they have a special channel for Quran Kareem, Holy Quran. And Egypt was distinguished at that time for its pioneer role. If you have other questions, just let me know and I will try to answer.
Yes, of course we have many questions, Dr. Magda. As we are tackling women's issues and we are keen to show the role of women in development of many institutions, can you shed light
Could you please repeat the question, because
Yes, I'm talking about the role of women also in the history of the Egyptian radio. Can you shed light on this?
Yes, yes. Of course, Egyptian women used to play a role on directors of several channels were Egyptian women.
Yes.
And lots of people presenting even programs like Al Nasya, like Amal Fahmy.
Yes.
Amal Fahmy. They won, success, and people used to listen to them. We also had something like Shahid al-Asri, Mr. Omar Batisha, who used to present, distinguished people in Egypt, writers like Najib Mahfouz, just name it, and very cultural programs at that time. And you feel proud that many Arab countries would listen to you. Even in Ramadan, they have special shows talking about Islam, clarifying it, and this is written and it's very well known. If I talk today, if I'm moving today to what is happening, you have the FM stations, you have besides Radio Cairo, now we have lots of programs specialized in music. For instance, we have like Shabi FM, for instance. I listen to it because popular songs, there are popular songs being presented, and also you have a religious part, like for instance Sheikh Ahmed Turki, for instance Friday and Saturday. Personally, I listen to him. He's kind of moderate, and he explains Islam in a simple way to the man in the street, and at the same time answers to the question of what the people need today. And in Shabi FM, for instance, you have variety of songs that the man of the street would like to listen. So they become tuned to the radio. So does this mean that television is competing? In fact, they have a great role, maybe at certain periods, maybe radio is more booming in this sense. Although television is you watch and you listen. But radio has its own charm. Years and years ago when they presented Arabian Nights, the Alf Layla wa Layla, it's a very rich history for Egyptian radio that you have to be proud of. Personally, when I teach something like that, I feel proud of it because your name is there when they talk about radio. Egypt stands up, one of the top. So this is something which is very, very interesting.
Yes, Dr. Magda, in your opinion also, radio is considered and remains the medium that reaches the widest audience worldwide. How can this multi-purpose medium help people, including youth, to engage in discussions on topics that affect them?
Listen, when you have people listening to your programs and shows, that will raise up the importance of the station itself, and you will have lots of ads. I mean, look at the ads on radio. We have television competing, but radio is still keeping its position. It's not diminished by the competition of television and other sources that they can use. So by all means, it's there in the internet. It's there. People in around the world, they can listen to Radio Cairo and the variety of programs being presented. So it's something that you have to be proud of if I talk about Egyptian radio.
So how can we use this occasion to improve international cooperation between broadcasters?
You mean how do they present their shows, you mean?
Yes, international cooperation between different broadcasters to take experience from different countries in this domain of media.
Well, I don't think
media
we
cooperation.
because they are excelling themselves. I mean, when I listen to the programs, I feel that the presenters are well prepared.
Yes.
And it's also at the same time, you do what you love to do. You know, you're not forced to work in such a job unless you're interested. So that's basically
yes. So
you don't have to worry about it anyways.
Yes, yes. I mean that we can develop from the experience and of many other countries in the field of developing the media and the radio stations here. So this was my question to you. And also, if we talk about the role of Egyptian radio in the development of the country.
Of course, of course. Now, you used to have something having to do with illiteracy, teaching people how to read and write years and years ago.
Yes.
Teach them about their culture, about their religion, about understanding, about solving problems. I think so. It's like an encyclopedia. I mean, you have to be proud of it. I mean, I'm talking because you feel it. So basically,
yes.
Is it today their celebration day for radio? If this is so, we have to tell them congratulations.
Yes. So, Dr. Magda, before all these private channels were established, the Egyptian state radio and television were the only source of information, and that time the media sector did not suffer from any crises. How do you
make
see?
your question short because I have noise.
Okay, okay. How do you see, I'm talking about the private channels that were established, and before the only source of information was the Egyptian television and radio. How do you see the changes in the Egyptian society and its taste?
People become affected, they listen to it. The more that you give them the information, the more that they will stick to you. Of course, you will put it in a format of music and songs and something like that, so people will listen. We don't have a problem in that. I mean, it's interesting. I personally, many people commuting back and forth from their home to their work, they would listen to radio. They're not watching TV. See, you have a huge amount of people listening to you. So it's very effective. Otherwise, they will not be celebrating today. You know, one of the days in Egypt that you have to celebrate is Radio Capital. And the role being played by the announcers and very good ones.
Yes. So one final question, Dr. Magda. How can the...
This is the last question.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Dr. Magda, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Magda Bagnied, Professor of Mass Communication. Thank you, Dr. Magda, for being with us. And dear viewers, a short break, and we'll be back, so stay tuned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Magda.
All the best to Egyptian radio and Egyptian media and all Egyptian people at the same time.
Thank you, Dr. Magda.
Thank you.